Tennessee.
The hurricane season moves into high gear as the threat from Brett blows away. 3 more storm systems are lined up bumper to bumper in the Atlantic. A CBS News investigation finds a surprising source of some of the many guns in America. And fighting the effects of stress, a common vitamin, may be just what the doctor ordered.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Good evening. Dan is off tonight. I'm Bob Schieffer. Hurricane Brett produced heavy rain, powerful wind, and a big sigh of relief. The threat tonight from what's left of Brett is flooding along the South Texas coast. But there have been no reports of serious injuries and not nearly as much damage as might have been. The hurricane came ashore last evening south of Corpus Christi and began losing strength. Today it was downgraded to a tropical storm, will soon be a tropical depression. We're going to begin our coverage tonight with correspondent Byron Pitts.
In the end, Hurricane Brett was more nuisance than nightmare. The beast forecasters had predicted didn't even break an egg of the Perez household, and they were in Falfurrias, a town of 6,000 that weathered the eye of the storm.
I guess the damage is minimal considering, what it could have been.
Last night it appeared Brett could have been the big one, a Category 4 hurricane. He threatened the South Texas coast with winds of up to 140 miles per hour. But by daybreak, he'd hobbled across 7 counties, doing the most damage where the fewest people live. Flooding's the main concern now. Meantime, the thousands that fled Corpus Christi over the weekend will return home to shattered sidings and a smiling mayor.
Well, you might call it the Great Escape. I think the city of Corpus Christi is very fortunate.
Fortunate and curious. Did forecasters make the right call?
You have to allow for error, and you can't take a chance on having people not prepared.
South Texas was prepared and proud of it. This time last night at the local hotel where we were staying, all guests were required to wear body tags just in case. Tonight, the fear is gone, even though the wind and the rain still linger.
Might as well get out and do a little playing on the backside of the storm.
Playtime or practice. Those who doubt the forecasters should never question history. A hurricane killed 8,000 people in Galveston in 1900. And old-timers say, Texas is due. Byron Pitts, CBS News, Corpus Christi.
This is Jim Axelrod in Sarita, Texas, a one-horse town in a county known for cows. They outnumber people here 100 to 1.
Looking at the twisted trees and the twisted signs, it looks like they had a cyclonic type of winds through here.
Hurricane Brett painted a bullseye on Sarita and Kennedy County, snapping trees and smashing windows. But no one was hurt, even though 100-mile-an-hour winds passed right through town.
It was right on top of us, and we just were lucky, very lucky.
The last 24 hours here in Kennedy County seem to offer some convincing proof regarding that age-old theory about clouds and silver linings. Sometimes, even hurricane clouds have them. With the whole Gulf Coast to choose from, Brett picked a county of just 500 people, sitting right between Corpus Christi and Brownsville, and populations in the hundreds of thousands.
You see the evidence of the kind of winds they had here. If it hit a Corpus Christi, I think you would have seen a lot more damage.
You got the map, and you got the weather radio.
But while everyone else saw the silver today, hurricane chaser Scott Fellows focused on the cloud. He drove straight from Atlanta to see Brett and is heading home disappointed.
I just scanned Kennedy County, north to south. I went to Armstrong and back. There's nothing here. It's pathetic.
One man's missed target is another's dodged bullet. On the Gulf Coast of Texas tonight, that is how most people prefer to think about it. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, Sarita, Texas.
There is some fear of flooding in the Texas border town of Laredo, where Brett is expected to dump up to 20 inches of rain by tonight. Thousands on both sides of the Rio Grande have been evacuated to higher ground. Well, Brett is fading away, but we shouldn't let our guard down yet. Our CBS News weather consultant, Brian Norcross, tells us there may be more trouble out there.
Bob, we're looking at the picture of the Atlantic Ocean here, and a week ago there was nothing here, and now we have 3 systems to look at. This one is the one of most immediate concern. It's just north of Puerto Rico right now, Air Force hurricane hunters out there today looking at it. It's not named yet, but because it's so close to the U.S. and the conditions appear generally favorable for development, we're going to have to watch that closely, really for the east coast of the U.S. here later on in the week. This is Tropical Storm Cindy, and it's way out in the Atlantic, but moving in a westerly direction. And another strong system just now coming off of Africa, so things definitely heating up.
Well, it's been so quiet so far. Why all of a sudden all these storms?
Well, you know, Bob, we usually focus on August 20th as the beginning of the season when just climatologically, just on average, things get going. And indeed, that's what happened this year.
You think it'd be better or worse than last hurricane season?
Well, Bob, last year we had 14 storms, and they started almost exactly the same time. The conditions over the Atlantic basin this year appear about like they did last year, maybe even a little more favorable. So we don't really see any reason at this point why we would expect less this year and maybe even more.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Residents of low-lying Padre Island, Texas, returned home today and were greatly relieved at what they found. Still, they were in a better safe than sorry mode, as correspondent Bob McNamara reports.
Hurricane Brett's brush with South Padre Island left only a few scars.
I think the whole island should feel pretty lucky.
Even with 135-mile-per-hour peak winds, Hurricane Brett has been more about rain than wreckage. Over 2 feet of rain in places. And if anyone believed Brett was mostly hype and not much hurricane,
you can never be too safe, you know?
The lack of a body count may say a lot about thousands who got out of the hurricane's way.
There's no way to really tell exactly what a hurricane's gonna do. You just gotta be prepared.
It's not as bad as I thought, but it's work.
Today, Tola and Greg Lunas came home to a tree down on the roof of the house they evacuated on Baffin Bay.
We're in pretty good shape,
The litter of boat docks and other debris on the shoreline. But it was all minor.
You know, our house is still here and we're all okay, so that's really what matters.
Yesterday, as the hurricane bore down, Greg Lunas used a fence to board up windows. His wife packed photos, all the family's irreplaceables.
These are something that really cannot be replaced.
Today, they were back to unloading everything again, reopening the house. But the windows will stay boarded. It's the season again on the Texas Gulf. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Baffin Bay, Texas.
And still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, an amazing rescue from the ruins in Turkey. Eye on America finds the unlikely source of some of this country's guns. And a lost soul was found after 40 days in the wilderness.
Cleaning your teeth, protecting against plaque and tartar buildup, and prevention of gingivitis is crucial. You got that, Ellie Mae? Regular use of Dentabone has been clinically shown to reduce gingivitis. Just look at the difference it made in these 2 dogs. I recommend Dentabone from Pedigree.
One of life's most joyful moments can also be one of its most painful. But take comfort in Tylenol, the pain reliever doctors and hospitals choose most.
Come meet your little brother.
Hello. Tylenol, take comfort in our strength.
Got dirty sweat stains? Spray and Wash Advanced Stain Care penetrates faster than Shout and powers out those dirty sweat stains. See? So go ahead and
let them go with Spray and Wash.
Anne Klein Eyewear by Luxottica. What do you want people to see?
I want you to see fearlessness.
The unexpected.
I want you to see you don't need words to make a statement. Ask for the latest Anne Klein styles by Luxottica.
It's surprising who's drinking Ensure. Healthy people. Staying healthy means eating right. But when you can't eat nutritious foods like these, drink Ensure. With essential vitamins and minerals you find in vegetables, calcium like in milk, and protein like in fish. Ensure's a source of complete balanced nutrition. Helps you stay active and energetic. Drink Ensure. And drink to your health. And now there's Ensure High Calcium, with calcium and other key nutrients to help build strong bones.
The confirmed death toll from Turkey's worst earthquake stands at more than 12,000 now, but they are just starting to clear the rubble. And a UN spokesman says the Turkish government has asked for help in finding 45,000 body bags. 2 U.S. Navy ships with 3,000 U.S. Marines arrived off the coast of Turkey today. They brought helicopters to ferry aid into areas where roads have been destroyed. Foreign aid has been mostly an exercise in frustration, and by now it is too late to reach most of the victims trapped in the rubble. Still, there was another remarkable rescue today. CBS News correspondent Randall Pinkston is on the scene.
The miraculous discovery by Israeli and Turkish rescue teams of 3-year-old Ismail, alive and well after 7 days, was a moment of great joy. But the misery continues. This woman's husband was also found, dead, crushed in their home. Clutching his picture, she cried, "What can I do now without my husband? Why did you leave me?" Instead of delicate search and rescue efforts, bulldozer crews have now taken charge of the rubble. And after much delay, the Turkish army is also arriving in large numbers. With bad weather underlining the need for shelter, the army handed out bags of food and water to a long line of victims. But there are dumbfounding actions by the government too. 20 miles away, survivors also desperate for shelter saw piles of supplies but got nothing. Ulmet Kamal, who lost his home, says there's plenty of food, water, and medicine, but what's needed most is shelter. The homeless in these tents aren't used to deprivation. Until last week, they were living in these $100,000 apartments.
What's remarkable about this place is that while most of the old buildings survived the earthquake, 90% of these luxury units collapsed, and all of them will have to be torn down.
The developer who built them, a cousin of the local mayor, left town right after the earthquake. Authorities have since discovered the apartments contained cheap concrete and not enough steel. The once respected architect and builder apparently got rich by risking the lives of his neighbors. His corruption and Turkey's natural disaster have proved a lethal combination. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, Yalova, Turkey.
Trouble in Kosovo today. Angry ethnic Albanians have thrown up a blockade against Russian peacekeeping troops. When the Russians tried to move into one town today, they were stopped by a mass of trucks, cars, and tractors. Albanians say they don't trust the Russians and accuse them of collaborating with Serbian forces. The Russians say they're just carrying out their mission in the NATO-led peacekeeping force, and they say they'll try again tomorrow. Well, coming up next on the CBS Evening News, a surprising pipeline for some of the guns on the streets of America.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila. You know, your home is your sanctuary, the one place you and your children should feel safe. But there can be dangers, too, and some of them are not so obvious. Improperly wired outlets that can electrocute, water coolers that can burn, household cleaners that can kill, lead paint that can poison. To find out about them, call HUD.
For a free brochure on HUD's healthy homes and FHA loans, just call. HUD and FHA are on your side.
Now an important tool to defend yourself against heart disease and some cancers is in your hands. Because now studies confirm that eating whole grain foods like Total, Wheaties, and Cheerios as part of a low-fat diet may reduce your risk of heart disease and certain cancers. Most cereals are not whole grain, but all of these from General Mills are. Look for this seal to be sure and help defend yourself against heart disease and cancer.
Have you tried these yet? Specialized blends from one a day. Not just herbs. Herbs, vitamins, and minerals for things like memory. Have you seen my keys? Where are the keys? 83. And energy. Excuse me. Excuse me. Even tension and mood. Help your body help itself with one-a-day specialized blends. They're just what you need to feel your best.
My business runs on long hours and a leave. I can't settle for those pain relievers that quit too soon. Just 2 Aleve are strong enough to work all day. I used to need 8 Tylenol to do that. There's a tool for every job. For tough pain, it's Aleve.
Yeah, I've been having this problem with my girlfriend. It's
Diarrhea. Get it, and you want it gone.
Really good listener.
Imodium Advanced combines 2 medicines that relieve diarrhea plus cramps and bloating faster.
Was I right to invite my mom to my honeymoon?
Absolutely. Imodium Advanced.
Tonight's Eye on America is part of an ongoing CBS News investigation of the role of guns in the United States. There are an estimated 200 million guns in this country, and police departments have been trying to cut that number by offering to buy guns from their owners. But in an ironic twist, Vince Gonzalez has found the police are also pumping guns into the market.
After the shooting at the Jewish Community Center in California, Buford Furrow allegedly killed a postal worker with this 9mm semi-automatic pistol. The gun was first owned by the Cosmopolis Police Department in Washington State.
We purchased a gun for evaluation and sold it to a local gun dealer. That gun dealer sold it to a private citizen.
And that's not uncommon. According to documents obtained by CBS News, law enforcement agencies across the country have sold or traded tens of thousands of their weapons to gun dealers, who then sell them to the public, everything from handguns to machine guns.
I think that's outrageous. Putting assault weapons back on the street, there's no excuse.
Jay Wachtel is a former federal agent who specialized in gun trafficking.
I can't imagine that any police department that appreciates the consequences, would want to add to the pool of firearms.
It's time to begin classes. We are back.
When Columbine High students returned to school last week, the cheering couldn't erase the memory of what high-powered weapons can do.
They're going in.
At the time of the Littleton massacre, local officials, including the Jefferson County Sheriff, condemned assault weapons as having only one purpose: killing people. But CBS News has learned 4 out of the 5 departments responding to the scene that day sell or trade their used weapons, including assault rifles, to gun dealers. None of those dealers would talk to us, but we have a list of the weapons they bought from law enforcement: 112 handguns, 194 shotguns and rifles, and 20 assault weapons, including the AR-15. A weapon so deadly it can no longer be imported or manufactured here. That was one of the guns sold by Jefferson County. Sheriff John Stone told us he didn't know his department sold assault weapons.
I think my philosophy is going to change on that, and those weapons will not be used in any kind of trade-in program.
But Stone defends the practice when it comes to handguns.
Well, it's just like trading in a car or anything else, except this gun, and I had no problem with the handguns.
This handgun, first owned by the New York State Police, was later used by Richard Leon Brown to murder 2 store clerks in California. Brown, caught on surveillance tape, is now on death row. That gun, according to a report, was one of 30 used in crimes which were traced back to New York law enforcement. Now all used state weapons are destroyed. The legendary Texas Rangers, the guys in the white hats, and the Texas Highway Patrol are among the biggest arms dealers in law enforcement. According to inventory reports, they've unloaded thousands of handguns, shotguns, rifles, and dozens of assault weapons over the last decade. But the biggest surprise came from the Irving, Texas Police, the only department we found which sold grenade launchers.
Of the M203 40mm grenade launcher.
The paper trail leads to a licensed firearms dealer in Idaho who is offering them on his website for $3,500 apiece.
The people that get them are licensed, and that's about the best safeguards we can come up with is going through the federal government that they assure us that these people are the proper people to deal with them.
The licensed weapons dealer from Idaho also promotes as a must-read a new novel in which the hero advocates the execution of police officers who enforce gun control laws. Buford Furrow was an avid reader of such anti-government books, and at one time he was a licensed firearms dealer. All these gun deals are perfectly legal. The question is, in a country reeling from gun violence, should those who are supposed to protect and serve be selling and trading such deadly weapons? In Los Angeles, this is Vince Gonzalez for Eye on America.
And it is not just the police. Tomorrow night, we'll tell you about some other unexpected sources for the guns on the streets of America. Coming up next on tonight's CBS Evening News, why vitamin C may be more vital to your health than you thought.
Now our first denture cleanser keeps dentures feeling clean all day. New Fixodent with ProGuard, a breakthrough tablet and bath system. First, place your dentures into the bath and release the power of ProGuard to get them 4 times cleaner. Then you lift the inner basket to help seal in the clean with the ProGuard barrier, protecting against plaque and odor-causing bacteria from morning till night. Fixodent with ProGuard. Start cleaner, stay cleaner.
I'm not a person who rushes into things until they're great. Like this new fabric spray, Resolve Fabric Refresher. It gets rid of odors safely and permanently, and dries faster than the leading brand. See, Resolve has this quick-drying spray that removes the toughest odors with a gentle mist. Your sofa's not only fresh-smelling, in minutes it's dry. New quick-drying Resolve Fabric Refresher. Why wait? It's in your laundry aisle now.
Nobody does it like you.
Boy, they love to play horsey. So your carpet better be deep down clean. And for that, you need Hoover. Hey, you want the best, partner? Introducing the Hoover Steam Vac Wide Path. It sends hot water surging through 6 rotating brushes to stir up and pull out deep down dirt the way no other carpet cleaner can.
Hoover!
If you want clean, deep down you want Hoover.
You better eat your crust, Richard.
Why?
It gives you curly hair.
If crust would let me kick a ball 50 yards, then I'd eat it.
Tim and Richard loved strawberry jam spread on warm toast. Now they're the 4th generation of Smuckers making it.
Now, if crust got me A's in school, then maybe.
Nope. Curly hair.
Here, have my curls, Tim.
For more than 100 years, with a name like Smuckers, it has to be good.
On the CBS Market Watch, the Federal Reserve is widely expected to raise interest rates tomorrow to keep inflation in check. If Wall Street's concerned about that, the Fed's action didn't show today. The Dow soared nearly 200 points to close at a record high, just shy of 11,300. Over on the NASDAQ, internet stocks led the way to a hefty 71-point gain. Vitamin C stock is getting a boost at the American Chemical Society meeting in New Orleans this week. Researchers there say preventing colds and diseases is not the only way that vitamin C can promote good health. Elizabeth Caledon has more on that.
Whether it comes from bottles or fruits and vegetables, vitamin C has long been an important part of any campaign to stay healthy. Drinks loaded with vitamin C are the #1 request at Lucky's Juice Joint in Manhattan.
Vitamin C is extremely popular. It's by far the most popular vitamin.
And now scientists are unlocking a whole new level of potential for vitamin C, its ability to prevent illness by fighting stress. In new research done at the University of Alabama in Huntsville, laboratory rats like these were restrained from moving for an hour at a time, causing their hormonal stress levels to rise. When they were fed mega doses of vitamin C, production of stress hormones was reduced.
The animals that were stressed and not given C had almost triple times the blood levels of these stress hormones.
But what does that mean for stress in people? It's too early to tell, says Dr. Mark Levine of the National Institutes of Health, who adds people could never take the quantity given to the rats.
It's quite possible vitamin C will have effects in the adrenal gland and on stress, but I think based on this study, we can't say that now in humans. It's a premature conclusion.
Still, Dr. Levine admits the many benefits of vitamin C have yet to be tapped. He believes the current government recommendations of 60 milligrams a day are too low. The guidelines for how much vitamin C to take are being debated, and new ones are expected by the end of the year. Elizabeth Caledon, CBS News, New York.
And now for some new panda family pictures. In China, first photos of those panda triplets we told you about last week. 2 of them are healthy, but one of them eventually died. And at the San Diego Zoo, the first giant panda cub born in this country in 10 years. It's now 2 days old. Mother and cub are doing fine. Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, searching for a seeker. 40 days in the desert.
You know, everyone wants whiter teeth.
Including me, and I wear dentures.
Well, now, Polident has made a mouthwash that whitens dentures with every rinse.
That's right, a mouthwash. New Polident Whitening Mouthwash.
Sure, it freshens breath and tastes great, but that's just for openers.
New Polident Whitening Mouthwash actually whitens dentures and brightens your smile. You'll see a noticeable difference in just 2 weeks.
Does it work? I'm smiling, aren't I?
New Polident Whitening Mouthwash.
It's giving denture wearers a lot to smile about.
I may look young, but I still suffer from hot flashes. I discovered a natural way to deal with it. New Healthy Woman from the makers of Monistat. Healthy Woman's a soy menopause supplement that helps relieve hot flashes in a natural way. New Healthy Woman.
Vogue Eyewear by Luxottica. What do you want people to see?
I want you to see where it all started.
Growing up doesn't equal growing bold.
I want you to see next year's trend.
Ask for the latest Vogue styles by Luxottica.
Hi, I have a question about buying stock. What's the difference between a market order and a limit order? Hello? Excuse me.
When you have an investment question, does your online brokerage have anybody there to answer it? We do.
Do you want to stop by Dave's after the movie?
Would you put your life on the line to change a flat? Each year, nearly 3,000 people die in roadside accidents. It's better to risk your rim than risk your life. Drive slowly to a safer area. Never attempt repairs on a narrow shoulder.
I'm okay.
For more safety tips, get this free book from Shell. Count on Shell.
The governor of Minnesota says he is proud to be a former wrestler and he is willing to go to the mat on it. So even though critics told him not to do it, Jesse Ventura returned to the ring last night as a referee. He stole the show at the World Wrestling Federation title match in Minneapolis. Ventura says he will donate his $100,000 fee to charity. And finally tonight, a story that sounds like something out of the Bible. Rescue workers found a missing American, Robert Bogucki of Alaska, who had been wandering around barefoot in the Australian desert for 40 days and 40 nights, eating plants and drinking dirty water. His first words to a television crew that found him were not that surprising.
I'm hungry. I'm tired. Enough of this walking around.
You've had enough. Bogucki had been the object of a widespread air and ground search since his abandoned bicycle was found on the desert's edge back in July. He lost more than 40 pounds and traveled 250 miles during the ordeal. But after changing to a fresh T-shirt, he said he felt a lot better. So why did he wander into the desert with virtually no food or supplies?
I just wanted to spend a while on my own, just, you know, nobody else around, and just make peace with God, I guess.
And you've done that?
Oh, yeah.
And never again?
Well, I don't think you should have to do it more than once.
Well, police hope not. If he does decide to take another trip, they advise him to tell someone where he's headed. That's the news. Dan Rather will be along later tonight with a 48 Hours Monday mystery. Susan Spencer with a preview.
He may be the most notorious expert witness ever.
Fred Zane had faked data in virtually every case that has ever been examined.
Dozens of people behind bars need to know. Expert witness, later on 48 Hours.
And for Dan Rather, this is Bob Schieffer, CBS News in New York. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Earlier, we told you about police departments that sell rifles, handguns, even assault weapons to gun dealers. But if you think that's strange, ask yourself this. Why would some of the cities that are suing gun makers still be selling weapons to gun dealers? Tomorrow, an Eye on America investigation continues on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
How to organize your chaotic kid tomorrow on This Morning. The Experience, CBS News.
These old battery casings have been in gardens and driveways for years, but at what expense? Residents in one Middle Tennessee town are about to find out.
Convicted killer Paul Reed took a trip to Memphis today, and a lot of officers made sure he didn't get away. We'll tell you why the convicted killer headed west coming up.
And with no one running against him, why would Bill Purcell throw a big-time fundraiser? Find out why this mayoral candidate says he still needs more money. News Channel 5 at 6 is just seconds away.